Hey guys, Omar here from my point of view, and for this episode I'm gonna give my point of view of this 2018 Buick Regal. So for today's plan is I'm gonna go to a Buick dealership, hopefully, and look at the other Buick trim levels, the GS, the Tour X, whatever trim level I can get my hands on. This 2018, like I just stated, I'm looking at 2019 and 2020s, because sadly for 2020 the Buick Regal and the Regal Tour X has been discontinued. So I'll just give a little a goodbye tour of this Buick Regal. I'm not for sure the Regal will ever come back. If it does, probably SUV. You know how the world is right now. Let's do a little quick walk around. And like I said in my Chevrolet Malibu review, I referenced this car because it has the same platform. It rides the same platform as the Malibu, but it's like a totally completely different car inside and out. You can't really see any body panel that's actually the same. So I got the vehicle running. I'll do a start up here later on. This bad boy already has some mileage on her. 42,000 miles, and for a rental that's like 70. I would say almost like dog years, but it's hung up pretty well. Just drove it home, so I have the heated seats on and heated steering wheel. I'll go over more of the functions later. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get to it real quick. So here I am, just got to the dealership and perfectly waiting. We got the GS, let's see if my camera can focus in, and the Tour X. That's a horrible camera shot, but let me just go ahead and just pull in to make it simpler. Yep, as you can see, the GS and the Tour X are right here. Let me see if I can get permission to review those two real quick. That thing looks sick. This is the best part. The dealership has agreed that I can review those two Buick Regals over there, the GS and the Tour X. No need to zoom in because I'll be over there in a second. This is just what I really love. So I want to thank you so much, Buick GMC Reisman. Thank you guys so much for Springfield, Tennessee. So I'm just waiting to get the keys real quick. So patient, very nice. It's something I'm trying to do. And yeah, let's get to it real quick. Man, before it even comes out, man, I'm just stoked because I have yet to actually sit down in the Buick Regal GS. Any trim, doesn't matter this generation or not, man. Especially this generation, I really want to see what this thing is like. This is actually a 2020 GS all-wheel drive, 3.6 V6, 9-speed automatic gearbox. And this is what? Standard is $39,000, and then this total vehicle price is $41,000. So we'll take more look of it in a second. But man, just look at these red brake calipers, man. This thing is super sick. So here comes Matt right now, and we get to the Tour X. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna do first, but we'll see. So give me a second.
As far as backup cameras and all that,
yes, sir.
safety features. You got the sport seats in there as well as the massaging seats. There's
got massaging
that has massage seats. Yeah.
Wow.
It's got a built-in turbo, so it's not necessarily like an actual like turbo that's installed in there. They have their own retro-graded turbo, so it's got a turbo in there. Yeah, it's definitely a comfy car. Definitely an outstanding car.
Cool. Everything looks the same inside. I've yet to see these bucket seats. They never had this at the car show. I got 23 miles on here right now, and the gauge cost is the same. So my trim level just only has heated seats. This has heated and ventilated seats. Got the GS button right here, sport and lane departure. The gear lever is about the same. A little carbon fiber little design right here. The screen's about the same as well. Different steering wheel, flat bottom. Very nice. Everything's the same. This is the 4 collision. This is the button I can't press on my steering wheel. This is the best car for me because me being 6'9", and I get some more of this in my video. Look how much leg room I have, just like this. And it's a mid-size car. It's so comfortable driving this thing. I just want to pop the hood because I want to see the different 3.6. See how it's like squeezes up in there. So standard's a 2-liter turbo.
Yes.
And this is fits in there pretty well. 3.6 V6, same as the like the Buick, other Buicks as well. I think it's as similar as a V6 Camaro, but just very similar as well. How much horsepower does it have?
310.
310, yes, that's about right, yes sir. Man, I really wish we had these, and this is a mid-size car as well. And this is also on a LaCrosse. Yeah. I love the styling of it, man. I wish these things sell more, but everyone's buying SUVs now, so yeah.
That's kind of what Buick's more leaning towards.
All right, now let's look at the Tour X real quick. We're mainly going to focus more of the rear. Do you open it the same way? No, you don't, because the other Buicks, you open the trunk right here, but it's actually just a button back here. Oh, and it's automatic as well. He popped it open. That is a huge amount of space back here. So I already know if you want to just lay down the seats, you just pull this little button right here, and it lays down all the way complete flat. Obviously, you could just remove this flap over here, but I'm going to keep that up just to not waste time. You have storage down here as well. Pull it up. You got the Buick sign illuminated on the ground. Very nice.
Yeah. With that Buick logo on there, you can swipe your foot under there and it should close it. But
gotcha.
yeah, well.
All right, cool. I'm just going to look in the inside real quick. It's got panoramic roof on here as well. So I'm put up these seats. Can fold this down, and you have extra cup holders right here. I'll get to that more in a second in my car. The gauge cluster is different. I think this is a 2020. Yeah, this is a 2020 Tour X. So I'm surprised they actually made a 2020. The gauge cluster is slightly different. You do have the heated seats, lane departure, parking sensors. The climate control is the same. And I'm gonna see if this is all-wheel drive. Let's see how much this thing costs actually. This one costs $42,000. It's around the same as the GS over there. But here's something different. This one has an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Is this all-wheel drive? I know you can't get the Tour X with all-wheel drive, but let's see if this one has all-wheel drive. It doesn't say, doesn't show. I don't see the all-wheel drive. But 2-liter turbo. Only thing I'm not digging about the Tour X sadly is the Clayton. Not a big fan of Clayton. I wish you just like pop it off. Got a nice little spoiler back here as well. Nice exhaust, and exhaust actually does come out to the little fake tip right here, so I will call that real. Alrighty. Locked or remote start. Nice. That is very nice. Thank you so much. Once again, what's the name of the dealership? Riesland. 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 There we go. Make sure I say it right. All right, cool. All right, so I'm in a GS here. I did the remote start, so let's just go ahead and put our foot on the brake and hit the button and start. Thank you. Totally different gauge cluster. This is like one of the gauge clusters that GM uses on the higher end, like the Denali and stuff like that. And this is also on the Malibu Premier. So I actually like this gauge cluster a lot. Alrighty, so continue. And this actually is a different infotainment center than the 2018, as you can tell. This is more like the on the Chevys, but nothing wrong with that. I like this interface better. All right. There we go. Let me make sure I turn off the. There we go. Then we'll keep the ignition on. All right. Thank you once again, Mr. Matt.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Have a good rest of the day.
You as well.
So let's go ahead and turn on the dome lights. Turn them all on, and let's go ahead and do a quick review of this vehicle. And no, this is not the 3.6 you just saw in the Buick Regal GS. This is actually the 2-liter turbo. It's 250 horsepower and 260 foot-pounds of torque, which is made to a 9-speed automatic gearbox. Now, I'm not for sure why that Tour X had an 8-speed automatic gearbox, but that's the only 2 transmissions available for the Buick Regal. This engine is actually optional for the Chevrolet Malibu as well, which will have the same horsepower and torque output, and also the same 9-speed automatic gearbox. It is a nice little torquey motor as well. One thing that's slightly different from the Malibu and the Regal is how like the hood comes all the way out over here. But looking at the body cues of it, like I showed you earlier, it doesn't share anything with the Malibu. Not a panel gap or anything. Got nice dual exhaust. For the Chevrolet Malibu Premier, you have dual exhaust as well. Let me get out the way because the car is coming. Now I'm driving here on some back country roads. This is a very quiet and comfortable cabin. As I showed earlier, I have plenty of leg room. The 2-liter turbo is currently on just regular gas. Premium gas will make a difference for this engine. It pulls pretty strong. It doesn't feel like it's lacking any type of power. The gear changes are pretty smooth. You do have a lot of grip, but comparing this Regal to the previous generation, this doesn't feel as stiff as the last generation, but I have no complaints of the way this thing handles and the way it goes over bumps. The brakes are good. It's just when you brake hard, you hear that crunching sound. Yeah, that's very unattractive. It's not this car in particular. It's actually for some reason, all these Regals do this for some reason. I'm just braking nice and smooth, but braking hard. Yeah, that's a very unattractive sound that you hear from the brakes. So you want to take that into consideration if you're looking to one of these. Also about this Buick Regal is the acceleration. It's a lot of torque steer. The car just pulls from any old direction it feels like it. I'm not sure this thing has a limited slip diff. It needs one pretty bad. Training radius is pretty good on this as well. You hear that braking? You may find this car has trouble gaining traction here and there. So this base model isn't as sporty as you would have seen. It's got the power, it's got the torque if you want to overtake someone on the highway, but the quick and zippy stuff, it could do it, but it comes with a little complaints. All right, so time for me to do a review on the inside of this 2018 Buick Regal. Windows are automatic in the front, and the rear go down as well, automatic. Front two are automatic, and the rear ones are not. Get back to the rear in a second. You got your headlight switch right here, your dim switch down here as well. Got your hood release right here. And just like it sits there, the Chevrolet Malibu, it does not have a trunk release inside the car. Going on to the steering wheel, so you have your cruise control. You have your heated steering wheel. You press it on, that little light illuminates. And at the top right here, you can't really actually push a button. You can't push this button down. There's nothing here because this trim level doesn't have the forward collision like you saw on the GS model. But the other buttons you go see, as you can see, just press them down. The top one you cannot. You have your controls just for the infotainment center. You got your volume control right here. The seat go up and down on tracks, as you can see. It's not focused on the screen, but got your little OK symbol right here just in case you have a message down right here. But that is pretty much the steering wheel. It's very thin, but 3-spoke. 93 grip is pretty good, but it's not like that flat bottom we saw in that GS, and that was very nice. Wish I got to drive it, but it is what it is. Now going on to the gauge cluster. So it's pretty just simple layout, kind of basic as well. You got your information in here in the center, and then you go down to your audio if you want your audio to be displayed in the middle. Phone, navigation. This car it's not equipped with navigation, so it'll give you a little compass, and the options. So just you want to change your units. RPM gauges here on the left. Gas, coolant temperature, and miles per hour here on the right. So very simple, easy layout. And this is kind of a vintage General Motors infotainment part right here, which, I mean, it works. For the likes of me, man, I don't know how to turn off this beeping sound. This is driving me crazy. I spent way too long and trying to figure out how to stop this beeping sound. And it gets louder. I'm gonna turn off the vehicle right now. That's fine, that beeping is totally typical. And I got the key in my pocket, so when I shut the door and the vehicle's off, it's gonna chime. There it goes. So now I'm gonna put my foot on the brake and start the engine button. And then for the likes of me, I don't know how to turn this part off. Give it a second. There it goes. It's gonna come on again one more time, saying about some Wi-Fi connectivity. I don't know how to turn it off. I just don't. I know there's a way. You probably gotta look at the manual, but as of right now, it's very freaking annoying. So then you have a little home button right here. So wherever you go, right, climate, press home. You can always go home. If you go down to the settings, I can't find anywhere to turn off the tone noise every time you press the screen. So if someone in the comment section can let me know, that'd be greatly appreciated. And while I'm on the screen as well, you got your text, projection, your phone. OnStar navigation, this car doesn't have it, so give you a little compass. Get your other apps, People, New York's Time, all that stuff, My Buick. But all this shows you for the My Buick is learn more about the Buick, roadside assistance service, all that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and press the home button again. So turning off my flashlight, you can see this little orange light illuminate right here. That's actually a foot over hovering the brake pedal to let you know that you need to put your foot on the brake to start getting into gear. So now my foot's off the brake. I put my foot on the brake. If I'm in neutral and I put my foot off the brake, the light still shows up. Obviously, some cars, for example, the Dodge Charger, it won't let you do this. After a few amount of seconds, you can't do this. But You're in neutral, your foot's off the brake, you can still put it into park. You can change your gears down here manually as well. You got the pause at the top and the minus down at the bottom, which is backwards. I don't know how extremely loud this gear selector is. I mean, listen. Now what you hear on the other side is just the doors unlocking and locking. But I'm gonna keep putting to drive and reverse. Pretty clunky to me. Traction control button. Turn off your traction control. It will show up on the RPM gauges. And then this is the one thing I dislike, one of the many things actually I dislike about the Buick Regal. So you got your climate control down over here. You can change your temperature. You can do the driver settings or the passenger settings. Right now I got them on synchronized. So actually heated seats, and then you can also have your ventilated seats. With this Buick does not have option. But if you want to change like where the air flows, you can press the climate right here or press the climate on the screen. So I'm pressing climate down over here, and obviously it'll take you to the screen right here. You can do the defrost up to your face or down to your feet. You can turn on and off the AC only by the screen, not down here. You also do the temperature gauge as well. So it's one of those climate controls where you have to sadly touch the screen. It's not like it's fully, it's like half and half down here and half up here. So some may not like that. I don't like it for a fact, but it is what it is. Got a nice little voltage out down right here. I hate the position of these cup holders because it can actually be in your way. This is just normal size bottle, which is fine right now. But let's say you have like a normal coffee mug, stuff like that. It's gonna be taller up in your way, and it's just it's a bad place, honestly. The climate control should have been up here, and the volume somewhere down over here. But I mean, it is what it is. Speaking about the cup holders, you also can put a little cup right here as well. So this is probably your best solution for a large coffee mug or tea mug, wherever you prefer to use. You have two USB storage right here and auxiliary port. Storage space down here is kind of decent for its size. Nice little glove compartment right here. It's kind of, you open it, it goes down slowly. And you don't have that much space in here, but it's okay for this kind of class of vehicle. Now, like I showed earlier in the video, I have superior leg room. This is actually better somehow than the Chevrolet Malibu, and it's actually better than the Dodge Charger I just reviewed as well. So just keep that in mind. I find that kind of odd. So long road trips, and plus look, 6'9", but I'll wear size 16 shoes, and look how much room I have beside the brake pedal. So when I'm cruising along and just want to stretch out my leg, it's not interfering with the brake pedal whatsoever. So there's a huge gap between the gas pedal and the brake pedal, and then the side footwell. So this is actually a great GT car. This would actually be the best car for me to learn how to drive stick in. That would be fantastic. Malibu Premier actually uses this electronic brake right here, but the other trim levels like the 1.5, the LT one that I had in my video, actually still uses the old-fashioned foot brake. So the Buick Regal is slightly different from that, but yet again, you can also get this in the Chevrolet Malibu. I don't see anything in here that shares a single part with the Malibu. Possibly this, the little headlight switch. But everything else is completely different. So if you want to get into the back, all you have to do is press the little button right here. The same goes for the front two doors as well. So being 6'9", let me see how I fare. Obviously I can't sit behind myself in my drive position, so I still give kudo points to the Honda Accord. So sitting back here, if someone in front of you has short legs, doesn't mind scooting all the way forwards, you can do with leg room, but sadly, since this is a Sportback, we'll get to that in a second, the rear end kind of just, tilts down just a little bit, so you're not going to be comfortable. This is going to be one of those cars, if you're tall, you're going to have to slouch a little bit, and over time that may be bad on your back. You got two air vents back here as well, two USB outlets right here, so you can charge up your phone. You got some anchor points here for your car seats, and also right here you can lower this little part down for extra two cup holders down here in the back. You can also just go ahead and pull this little center part down if you have skis or wherever else you want to put it in here. This is a 40-40-20 split back here. You do have a little storage space down over here for your bottle or whatever. Very nice and comfortable back here as well. And now to the rear. And this is the main key component that is different between the Malibu and the Regal, is the trunk. because it is a Sportback. Now obviously you could tie this little part down over here up to this little hole up here, so I can do it real quick. Is inserted. There we go. So that's one side, and the other side as well. Insert it in this little loop right here. There we go. It will help hide whatever it is necessary down here. Put this little latch up. You do have the spare tire back here as well. Beautiful car. 2018 Buick Regal, or should I say Opel Signia, aka Vauxhall Signia, aka Honda Commodore, aka Chevrolet Malibu. But enough of that. So anyways, there's a lot of pros and cons with this car. I really do love the styling. I believe it's very elegant. The Sportback may not be for everyone, but it is very practical. I forgot to measure how tall the dresser was, but it was pretty tall and wide dresser. And I was able to shut down the lid as well. Apart from the styling, I wish the drive dynamics will mimic the styling. The car's not let down for its pedigree, but I do wish the brakes, like I stated earlier in the video, were sorted out. It's a huge grinding sound, and it makes the car unpleasant to drive the car hard. It's a lot of torque steer at low speeds. The steering wheel likes to jerk a lot. You know, driving the car hard, you don't feel confident as you do as the previous Regal. This one feels more laid back, more cruising, like a GT type of car. Speaking of GT, I'm really impressed about the legroom as well. It's actually surprisingly better than the Malibu, but yet again, it sacrifices the rear passenger leg room, but the Honda Accord excels in that. So the choice is up to you. Sadly, the Buick Regal has been discontinued, so I had to get my hands on this one. It's sad to see this car go. Mainly, I wouldn't dare say the replacement of this will be the Envision, but the Envision, which I sadly did not include in this video. The inside is very similar to the Buick Regal. You got the same 2-liter Ecotec turbo, same amount of horsepower as well, so take that into consideration. Try out that Tour X if you want something like a storage space, utility, versatility as well. So give that Buick Regal Tour X a shot. This car has inspired me to do a car project. I'm not going to say what I want to do with it, but I have something in my head, and hopefully in the next few years I get my finances together and I would like to share it with you guys. From my point of view, thank you for watching.